Okay, so hello everyone. Today, me and Nora are going to show you how to draw something that's like a little bit more realistic than what we did last week. So we're going to show you how to draw an eye. Okay? So what you'll need is a piece of paper and a pencil. Okay, so first, you kind of want to make like almost like a leaf shape or like a football shape, like that. Okay. So then, do you want to do a circle inside? And you want to keep it in the middle. And you want to try to make it as like, circular as you can, but it's not going to be perfect ever. And then inside of this big circle, you want to do like a smaller one, but you don't want to close it. You want to basically what you're doing is a C. Inside of this big circle is you're drawing a C. And then you're going to go to the end and then you're going to make it into a moon. So now we have basically a football shape. Inside that football, we have a circle, and inside that circle is a half moon. All right, so the easy thing that we're going to do is shade in or color in the half moon. You want to fill it in all the way. Okay, so now where this is like kind of where the moon is open, you want to go to one end of the moon and draw a line like that to the end of the big circle, and then you want to go to the other side and do the same thing. And you don't want to make it like straight, you want to make it come out a little bit. That. So next, you can start on either side. You're going to just start doing lines that are really close to each other. And we're just going to do that all the way around. And you want to make sure that they're close together and that they're equally spaced. So you don't want to have like one giant one here and like a bunch of close ones. You want to keep them all close together. Okay. So next, you want to choose like whichever side is going to be like the corner of your eye. And then you're going to draw like a thin line outlining the football on that side and then a thin line outlining on that side. Same thing with the end. And now we're going to start, then with the big circle that we have, we're going to go back to it and shade in the edge, but not all the way, just a little bit. And this is going to be like really dark. You want to make this outline just as dark as you made the this inside part. So they should be the same kind, shaded the same way. All right, now we're going to go back and shade it again, but this time a little bit lighter. And now we're going to go to this dark shaded part and shade outside of it a little, like just lightly, like a medium shade. Okay, now we're going to go and choose the part of your eyelid that's going to be the top, so it's reverse, so you'll want to do the opposite side. And then you want to shade from the edges coming out. Shade a little bit from this side. Okay, then you're gonna go to the top of your eyelids. Remember, this video's upside down, so you do the opposite. And you want to add like a really thin line right above the eye. And now we're gonna add the eyelashes. So you don't want to make like a bunch of straight things. If you look at your own eyelashes, they're kind of like a little, mixed up. There's like no, like in real life, eyelashes are a little bit messy, And we want to make this like realistic. And then as you get closer to the end, you want to make them smaller. So the eyelashes on the edges should be a little bit longer. And then you want to do the tiny little eyelashes that come on the bottom of your eye. Okay, and then you can do the eyebrow. And you can do the eyebrow any way you want. There's like hundreds of different kinds of eyebrows. And for this, you can just either draw it out all the way or you can make lines. Okay, so that's kind of how your eye should look. You know, it's not gonna look exactly like this. Remember, like in real life, people have lots of different shapes of, there's like lots of different shapes of eyes and all that. So this is like one way to do it, the way that I learned. And now we're gonna show you how to draw. Nora's gonna show you how to draw something else.
All right, hi everyone. I'm going to show you all how to draw a realistic rose. So we're going to start off with the middle of the rose. So I'm just going to draw a pretty small circle. And again, this doesn't have to be perfect. Just try your best. Then I'm going to go ahead and divide it into 3 sections. Next, I'm just going to go, starting at any end of the circle, and start drawing the petals. And I'm not really thinking that much when I draw the petals, just because petals are all different shapes and sizes. I'm going to keep doing this until my rose gets big enough. And as I get towards the outside of the rose, you can tell that the petals are getting much larger now. Okay, I think this is a good size for my rose. So now I'm going to go back and I'm going to start shading it. So I'm going to go to the center and shade it really dark in here. And slowly shade out to the outside. We'll make sure that outside is shaded lighter. Again, I'm shading the inside really dark and the outside I'm letting it to be a lot lighter. So I'm going to do this for every single petal. If you need to pause this video at any time just to go back, go ahead and do that. As you can see, the rose starting to pop up from the page more, starting to look a lot more realistic. And there's different ways of shading. I'm kind of doing like the scribbling shading, where you just really scribble. But there's a way you can do it that's smoother if you'd like, or you can use like a bunch of small lines to shade as well. If you learn any cool techniques in your art class. Oh yeah, that's my cat in the background. He saw some birds outside and she got really excited. This is also really therapeutic because you're just like shading in. You don't have to worry too much about like how precise it has to be. Okay, so that's a finished rose. And you know what? We can add more details to this, so why don't we add a stem? And the stem is super easy to shade. You're just going to shade one side super dark. And slowly blend out. You can even add a leaf. And for the leaf, you can shade this any way you want to. I think I'm going to actually use lines for shading this time just because it looks better for this. Remember, you want one side of the petal to be a lot darker than the other side so it looks more realistic and like pops up. All right, and there it is. You have your rose. So we're gonna have Aisha come back, and Aisha's gonna draw something else as well. See what she has planned.
Okay, so I'm going to show you how to draw a tree. So a lot of times when you draw a tree, it'll, I think like the basic kind is you got the trunk and then you have like the tree. So this is kind of like a cartoony version. So I'm going to show you how to draw like a more realistic looking tree. So you kind of want to do the trunk kind of the same way, right? Curve it in a little bit, straight line. Then when you get to the top, you want to split it, the trunk, into two halves, right? And you want to split that side into two halves, and you want to split the other side into two halves. But you don't want them to look exactly the same, so it's okay if one of them ends up being like a little bit taller, or you make the branch twist in a different direction. And that's basically what you do. You just keep going. You kind of keep splitting it in half, right? And then after like the second or third time, you can even add like just draw like kind of lines coming out instead of making them, because as making them more into branches, because it does get thinner as it gets taller to the edges, right? So you see I'm not making them, I'm just kind of drawing now, opening them up and drawing the lines from each one. And then, like, there is no exact way. Like, you can kind of start drawing, when you start getting to the top part, you can kind of start drawing lines wherever you want. All right, so now we have like a lot of branches. And if you really want to go into detail, you can start drawing like each of the leaves individually, right? This might take a while, but some parts of drawing does really require you to be patient. And it also means that you're going to have to find like a way to draw leaves that is really simple, right? Like if each of your leaves is taking you like a couple of minutes to draw, that might not be the best idea, right? But each of these is taking like less than a second to add on. And you can see like first I start off by adding the leaves directly to the branches, but then I might just like kind of add leaves also in like random spaces as well. Whatever you can kind of do this part whichever way you want. That was my cat that was shaking at this table. And if you want to see a slower way, basically how I do my leaves is I kind of curve it like that, and then I go in. But a much smaller version of that, kind of like that. And you want to make sure, like, you know, in real life, the leaves are kind of going like all over the place, right? So they don't have to be like all facing the same direction or whatever. Okay, so I'm kind of satisfied with how that looks. I'm gonna like have a few leaves falling off, you know, maybe one over here. And then for the trunk, basically what you want to do is you want to start drawing lines into the trunk and just follow it all the way up to the branch as far as you can. And then also something that I always like to do when I draw a tree is to make it realistic is I'll draw kind of like a circle, right? Because if you ever saw like a tree that had like a branch chopped off, you can kind of tell because it will have like a opening, and you can leave this open if you want. I like to go back inside and draw like smaller circles inside, and then you'll see kind of when we get to that part, you'll see the lines, how that looks with the lines kind of closing in around it. So yeah. Just want to kind of draw. And you know, you can just kind of stop the lines at the circle. You don't have to draw through them. And it doesn't have to be exact. Like I said, you know, like in nature, there's patterns, but the patterns are kind of also random at the same time, right? So we're drawing lines, but they're all just not going to be the same. All right, so that's kind of what your tree should look somewhat like. Okay, so that was all we had for you today. Today was a little bit of a shorter video. And we'll probably try to do something else that isn't drawing next. We'll try to do something else that isn't drawing next week just to change things up a bit. So yeah. Thanks for watching.